Hi, my name's Howard Asher. Just got off stage here in beautiful Palm Springs with the Health IT Summit for 2013. And we had a chance to talk and present what HHS is doing in putting a framework out and advocating that we develop what they're calling a regulatory framework that's risk-based, and it's quite new. It's something HHS is collaborating with FDA, FCC to harmonize this framework so that the IT industry can align exact resource and skills associated with a common framework. We also talked about some of the underpinning of that framework based on HIMSS, the Health Information Management Systems Society, I think it's called. And HIMSS has developed this GIP, Good Informatic Practices, that is thought to be the underpinning, the educational underpinning of some of this framework that's going to help us better comply with some of the regulatory onerous process of managing this risk and aligning IT to mitigate the risks that are exposed by the use of IT. So it's been a thrill to deal with this topic, and it's very contemporary and it's happening real time. Chaos is the number one challenge because when you go and you bring 100 healthcare professionals, CIOs, let's say, from 100 different hospitals, you're going to find a lot of different ways to do the exact same thing. And the reason is that there's no common reference to go to. And you contrast that, for the example, in the banking sector. They're much more harmonized and have been doing global banking for years and years, some 30 years. So it's expected, and the HHS has, I think, had a sobering moment and said, you know, we really do need to harmonize. First of all, we can't have the FDA saying one thing, FCC saying another, and then HHS yet again something different. So I think harmonization, and I think the IT industry will benefit also from having a common reference by which to harmonize their services and product too as well. Hopefully a lot more orderly. Another big push, for example, by HHS is that they want to, it's been a requirement to do these risk assessments, but what they now are advocating is that we do them by departmental structure under a workflow. And the reason this could be helpful is they're asking that we build a master risk analysis of the workflows and then align the IT and then align the vendors and then red circle, if you will, that's regulated. So that we can better work with our IT partners to mitigate that risk in a way that's best practice. And really look at this in a much more logical, orderly structure, so that when we interface with IT vendors and partners, that we do this in a way that brings a lot of straightforward, simplistic, if you will, compared to what we're currently doing. Because it's not unusual for the CIO of a healthcare to say, well, how do I do this? And if he talks to 10 IT vendors, he might get 9 different ways of doing that. That's not quite the idea. So it's a matter of raising the bar of trust and raising the bar so that we can do this as a collaborative partnering process that really is more successful for people and trusting healthcare. Well, I think the first order of advice is to do this master risk analysis. It's required now by law in the US since September 23rd of this year. But it's an important element, and it's going to take work, and it's socialize it with the department heads, really make effort to get this process underway. It changes the business associate agreements that we are required to do, so we can no longer do generic BAA as it's called. It has to be delineated. This is heavy lifting. So I think that would be priority one, is to really organize effort and do the best job you can with that master risk assessment. Every time you then make change, it becomes rather simple to adjust, amend, and demonstrate that you've improved it or you've used a different vendor, this type of thing. So it brings some sobriety and some normalcy and some order to what has been pretty chaotic.